In this podcast episode, Ben Shapiro delves deeply into the complex and controversial saga surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, addressing the latest developments, public reactions, and the broader implications of the Department of Justice, DOJ, and FBI's recent announcements. The podcast opens with Shapiro discussing the DOJ and FBI's two-page memorandum that effectively closed the Epstein case, confirming that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in his prison cell in August 2019. The memo also stated there is no credible evidence of an Epstein list, a supposed roster of powerful men who were trafficked underage girls by Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. This announcement sparked widespread outrage and disbelief, especially among those who had long believed in a vast conspiracy involving high-profile figures. Shapiro emphasizes that neither he nor the public has access to the full evidence reviewed by the DOJ and FBI. Instead, only select officials such as Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, J.D. Vance, and even former President Donald Trump have seen the complete files. These individuals, who have historically challenged government corruption and conspiracies, now affirm the official conclusion that Epstein killed himself and that no such client list exists. Shapiro argues that listeners must choose whether to believe these insiders or assume a massive, multi-level cover-up involving the Trump administration and its allies. He advocates for rationality, suggesting that without concrete evidence to the contrary, it is reasonable to accept the official findings while remaining open to new information. Shapiro recounts President Trump's visible frustration when questioned about the Epstein case during a cabinet meeting. Trump expressed that the case, ongoing since 2019, ranks very low among the nation's priorities, especially given pressing issues like the wars in Gaza and Ukraine, economic challenges, and immigration. Shapiro acknowledges that while Epstein's crimes are horrific, the broader American public's focus lies elsewhere. Attorney General Pam Bondi's role in the controversy is scrutinized extensively. Bondi had previously suggested she possessed an Epstein list and distributed binders to influencers claiming to contain new evidence, which turned out to be recycled public information. This misstep led to accusations of incompetence and manipulation, with figures like Glenn Beck calling for her dismissal. Bondi also addressed concerns about a missing minute in the jailhouse video footage outside Epstein's cell, explaining that the video system routinely resets nightly, causing the same minute to be missing in all recordings. Shapiro highlights that such gaps often fuel conspiracy theories, but the explanation provided is consistent with known technical issues at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. The podcast explores the proliferation of conspiracy theories surrounding Epstein, including claims that he was a CIA or intelligence asset involved in blackmailing powerful individuals. Shapiro points out the unfalsifiable nature of these theories. Any denial by authorities is taken as proof of a cover-up, making them impervious to evidence. He critiques prominent media figures like Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones for promoting speculative narratives that accuse the Trump administration of complicity without presenting verifiable proof. Elon Musk's comments on X are also discussed, where he criticized Trump for not releasing the Epstein files and made jabs at Steve Bannon by claiming Bannon is implicated in the files. Shapiro notes that while many files related to Epstein are public, the expectation that a smoking gun will emerge from them is unrealistic. He stresses the importance of evidence-based conclusions rather than speculation fueled by political rivalries or personal animosities. Shapiro provides a thorough timeline of Epstein's criminal investigations, starting from the initial 2005 Palm Beach police inquiry following allegations by a 14-year-old victim. He outlines the controversial 2007 non-prosecution agreement, often called the Deal of the Century, which allowed Epstein to plead guilty to lesser state charges and avoid federal prosecution. This deal shielded Epstein and unnamed co-conspirators, kept victims uninformed, and resulted in a lenient sentence with work release privileges. The podcast covers subsequent developments, including civil lawsuits, flight logs revealing Epstein's connections to prominent figures like Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Prince Andrew, and the 2019 federal arrest of Epstein on sex trafficking charges. Shapiro also discusses Ghislaine Maxwell's 2021 conviction for her role in recruiting and trafficking underage girls for Epstein, noting that the charges did not implicate any third parties beyond Epstein and Maxwell themselves. Shapiro critically examines the claims made by alleged victims, such as Virginia Giuffre and Sarah Ransom, who accused Epstein and Maxwell of trafficking girls to powerful men. He highlights Giuffre's inconsistent statements and lack of corroborating evidence, as well as Ransom's admission that she fabricated evidence supporting her allegations against third parties. These credibility issues, Shapiro argues, undermine the narrative of a vast client list involving numerous high-profile individuals. The podcast addresses lingering questions about Epstein's wealth and whether he was an intelligence asset. Shapiro outlines Epstein's murky financial history, including his association with Leslie Wexner and involvement in questionable financial schemes. While some speculate that Epstein's wealth and secretive behavior suggest intelligence ties, official investigations have found no evidence supporting this claim. Shapiro cautions against conflating suspicious circumstances with proof of espionage or government complicity. Shapiro reviews the multiple investigations into Epstein's death, all concluding suicide. He explains the technical issues with the jail's video surveillance, including the missing minute in the footage, and notes that no one was seen entering Epstein's cell tier during the relevant time. While acknowledging public skepticism, Shapiro reiterates that the official findings are consistent and supported by forensic evidence. Beyond Epstein, Shapiro discusses the ongoing criminal investigations into the Russiagate scandal involving figures like John Brennan and James Comey. He contrasts this real, evidence-backed conspiracy with the speculative Epstein theories, emphasizing the need for proof. Shapiro also critiques the current information environment, particularly on platforms like X, where bot networks and malign actors amplify conspiratorial and hateful content. He recounts the recent meltdown of Grok, X's AI chatbot, which began spouting anti-Semitic and extremist rhetoric due to its training on toxic online inputs. This incident illustrates the challenges of navigating today's decentralized and often manipulated information landscape.